Hey, it's James here with the Board Game Network. I'm going to be explaining how to play this game called Expo 1906. It plays 1 to 4 players, 14 years and up, in 60 to 90 minutes. So it does have solitaire rules in there and 2-player rules, slightly different. Here's the board. You've got the patent office here to keep track of patents. You have your funding track here. You've got your VP track here, and you've got 5 discs of your color. You're going to grab a lab board that's your color. You're going to put the first player, whoever that is going to put their fund on 3. Second player's on 4, 5, and 6, depending on how many players you got. You're going to put a VP token down here. This is your prestige track, but it's just your victory points at the end. You're going to take 3 of your discs and put them along this left here. And there's some bonus chits here. Here's some improved cards. There's 5 improved cards there. They're just for the taking later on in the game. You are going to take 6 cards that are your color. Everybody has identical cards there. You are going to take the jury tiles. You're going to turn those over, mix them up, put 2 face up here. I just got 2 electricity. You're going to take the train station, which are your resource card chits. You're going to turn those upside down, mix those up. And if you got 1 player, 3, 2 is 6, 3 is 9, 4 is 12 that you turn up and play out. You're going to mix these up by shape and then take 1 of them and lay it out here to be available for purchase. These are called projects. And then you've got technology tiles. So what happens is you get resources to build your projects, and that increases your prestige. Your technologies make it so that your resources, you can do your resources easier or cheaper, or you can have improved technologies, so it improves your cards. So you're just going to mix these tiles up, first, second, third, fourth player, hand those out, and then that's the order that you go in, and then make sure you put the funding track correct at that point. You have just some trash in your lab to start with, some junk. So you put that in the spaces that are on there. There should be 5 tiles on each board. They're not even identical between the different boards, I don't think. And so that's the setup. This is the Expo from 1906. It's in Milan, and over 200 buildings are rushed into completion in time for the 1906 Universal Exposition. As one of the 40 exhibiting nations, you are intent on impressing the world with your engineering and scientists. So you get victory points by completing your projects. That's how you get those victory points. And you also get victory points by advancing on the patent track. So there are a maximum of 10 rounds, and that's kept track of on the jury chart here. You start with 2 out, but each round you're going to flip 1 up, and so you'll notice there's only 10 spaces left. You are going to play an action card, so you're going to look in your hand. Whoever the first player is, he's going to take an action and play that card down and then do what that action says, and you're going to keep that face up, and the next person goes, and then you keep going like that until somebody plays the meeting room. The meeting room ends the round, but you cannot play the meeting room on the first round. That's your limitation. You also have a limitation of not being able to play the same card that the person in front of you played. So if somebody in front of you played the skyscraper, you can't play the skyscraper. You have to pick something different. These academies, so to get things from the Academy, you're going to play the Academy card. It shows right here $2 for one of your projects or $2 for one of the technologies here. And there's all kinds of technologies available. Some of them just give you resources, just like these would. And some of them make your cards better. So this is a train station improvement. So if you got that, you would discard this train station and pick up the improved train station, put that in your hand. And then you'd start playing with that one. That one makes your tiles cheaper. Instead of $1, $2, or $3, depending on whether you buy 1, 2, or 3, this one says $1, $1, $2. So it makes your resources cheaper if you have these. And so there's a variety of different ones in there. This one gives you an improved skyscraper, which is your funding. It gives you $4. That one gives you $6 if you have that card. So that's the Academy. Then we have the train station where you purchase. And so if you purchased, let's say I just want to purchase 3 tiles, 3 resources. So I would take, on blue, I would take and go from 3 down to 0. And then pick whatever resources I want, and they would just go off to the side. Skyscraper, if I played a skyscraper, I just move up 4. If I played the journal lets me move 3 spaces up on the patent track, and I can do that however I want to, and I only have 3 of these over here, so I just pick which one I want to go up on, and I could go 3 on one, or 1 on all 3, or whatever combination I want. And at the beginning I need to pick which one I want to go up on. And you probably want to look at what projects you're working on and try to go up in the patents on those projects, those technologies. You have 6 different technologies here. There are 8 technologies total. You've got electricity, and you have steam is the other one. Here's steam right here. And here's electricity. It says in the rules that steam is considered anything that converts heat to motion. So 2 of the technologies are over here, 6 are over here. We've got steel, we've got copper, we've got manual, and we've got automated. We have scientific, and we have empirical, are the 6 different technologies over here. A laboratory affects your lab board here, and what it does is let me get let's say I played the Academy and picked me up a project, and that just stays empty until the end of the round where a new project comes out, and that would cost $2. It costs $2 for any of these, or it costs $2 for one of those. So let's say I bought a project, let's say I bought some resources, and the laboratory, what it allows me to do is it allows me to swap 3 tiles, up to 3 tiles total, and that is putting tiles on the lab and taking tiles off the lab. So you definitely want to get these scrap tiles off of there, probably, because it makes it harder to build. Otherwise you're going to be building around them because you can't play on top of them. So you could say, well, I want to take that one off, I want to put this one on, and I'm going to put a resource with it. Now if you look, resources can be rotated different ways. If you rotate it this way, this provides copper and manual labor to this project. Now this project doesn't really need copper or manual labor, so that wouldn't be a good fit. But if I put it this way, it only provides manual labor, but then it will provide copper to a different project that might be setting adjacent to it. And to the corners doesn't count. It has to be setting up next to, orthogonal to the project. So depending on your orientation of the resource, you definitely can get more benefit out. So these really weren't good tiles to buy for this project, but what needs copper? Here's one that needs copper. I could put copper there. You'll notice it needs 3 empirical technologies, 3 automated technologies, 2 copper, and 2 steam. So once enough resources around it fulfill that requirement, then you've completed that project. And that's your goal, is to complete projects, because once you complete projects, then you score the projects. Okay, so the last one that I haven't talked about in your hand is the meeting room. The meeting room ends the round, and you get to choose 2 different actions. There's 4 actions possible. One of them is to choose the next jury tile. So you can look through here and say, well, I want electricity, or no, I want steam. And the reason why you might do that is because the projects you have get bonuses at the end of the game if they use the technology that the jury decided was the better technology. So if you've got a lot of steam technologies over here, the projects that you're completing, you definitely want to stack the jury towards steam, or likewise with electricity. Or if you got maybe half and half, don't even worry about the jury, let somebody else worry about the jury. You can get $1. So you move $1 up on the track. You can move 1 space up on any of your tracks on the patent office, and you can rearrange up to 3 tiles out here. So once you have some tiles out here and you go, you know what, I should have placed these better, I should move this over here and this over here. Now once a project's completed, you cannot move tiles to make it incomplete. So at the end of the adjustment of the tiles, any complete projects must still be complete. So that's your 4 options when you play the meeting room. Pull out a jury tile, get $1, rearrange 3 tiles, or move up 1 space on the patent office. Once you've played the meeting room, then you reorganize. And reorganize, the jury tile is drawn. So 1 is drawn randomly if the player who played the meeting room did not draw 1. So the 1 always gets drawn whether the meeting room player draws it or it gets drawn randomly. You clear off the academy that has any technologies that are not using this technology, whatever the latest one is. So this one uses electricity, this one here used steam, this one used electricity, this one used electricity. So those would all come off. They go at the bottom of the stack, and you put the top one off the stack back on here. You clear off all your resources. Those simply get discarded. If you run out, you can reshuffle and start over with new ones. But then you put out the correct number of resources based on the number of players. Then you pick up your deck. Now remember, I said you're playing those down face up, and so they just stay out there, and so you become more limited as the round goes on what you can play. But they stay out there until somebody plays the meeting room, and then you pick them all back up and they're available again. Okay, completing a project, you get this victory points. So you're going to move up on the prestige track however many points that project is worth. You are going to +1 victory point for every technology that you are in the lead on the patent office that is used in the technology of the project that you just completed. So this one is using empirical science, and it's using automated, and it's using copper, and it's using steam. So now steam's not over here, but the other 3 are. So if you're in the lead over here on any of those that are being used on that project that you complete, then you get an extra victory point for each of those. Now you'll notice here there's some dollar signs in between tracks. You can actually, if you're here, pay $1 and go to there. It still costs you a movement, so you still have to play the correct card here to let you move on the patent track. Play that journal card that lets you move 3 spaces. So you could actually be down here, move up, that's 2 spaces and then 3 spaces. So if you want to change tracks, it costs you the movement, and if there's a dollar value in between the spaces, then it costs you that much to do that changing. Once you get up here to the 8 or 9, you'll notice it says 1 VP at the game end. So at the game end, if you're in one of those, the 8 or the 9 space, you get an extra VP. If you're in the 10 space, if you're the first one there, you actually get to pick one of these scoring chits, and they all score differently. Like this one, Liege 1905, is just 3 victory points. So if you make it there, you turn that one up, and then at the end of the game you're going to get 3 victory points for that. If anybody else makes it there, then they are going to get that benefit also. But you get to look through them and pick the one you like the best. This one says each project shape gets you 1 victory point. So you want to, if you had different shapes instead of the same shape, you might want that one. Each scrap slot used is 1 victory point. So if you successfully used these scrap spaces, get victory points for that. Each $2 gives you an extra victory point. Each technology equals 2 victory points, maximum of 6. And then here's one that each 8 victory points gives you another victory point. So the game ends after 10 rounds after you fill up your jury, or if all the patent tracks are complete. So all 6 of these have some player's marker in the 10 space, or someone completes 5 projects on his board. And now that's a challenge really, because all of these take 4 spaces, and to get 5 projects in there and then get them completed is a challenge, but it could be done. The rest of the players get to go ahead and finish their round if that happens, and the card restriction where you can't play what the person in front of you played, that card restriction is waived in the case where somebody has played completed 5 projects. You also get 2 victory points for each project using the technology that's selected by the jury. Now the jury selects the technology that there's a majority of out here. So you're just going to total up how many electricities and how many steams there are. Whichever one there's the most of, you're going to get a 2 victory point bonus for each project that you did that was built with that technology. If there's a tie, then there's no victory points given. You get 1 victory point again if you're in the 8 or the 9 space there, and then you're going to score the victory points here in the 10 space. So that's how you play this game called Expo 1906. Make sure you tune into all of our videos here at the Board Game Network so you can keep up to date on all the latest games that are coming out and how to play them before you go out and buy. And if you like some of these games and play them, put your comments down below on how you like them. If you went out and bought some based on the rules that I presented and you thought it sounded like a good game, make sure you put your comments down below. So tune into all of our videos here at the Board Game Network.